Uh-oh, it's us.
Oh, hi.
Uh-oh, it's us. And I've just realised I've got the
Oh,
audio on.
hi.
Uh-oh. There we go. Good evening. We were just lost in conversation, so sorry for the slightly delayed start. Dom was, Dom
Hello.
was regaling me with stories of his youth.
Youth. I'm not sure about
Do you
that.
remember that? Youth?
No, I
No.
don't have a youth.
No.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is episode 74 of Dom and Tom Sit Talk and Hobby. And so basically we just sit here, have a little chit chat, do some hobby, and talk to you guys.
Hopefully
It's
some people
all
show
very
up.
fun and easygoing. Yeah.
It's looking quite light on the viewers at the moment, I must admit.
Well, these things happen. So, Tom, what are you painting tonight?
Well, I know this is technically finished, however, because of my Templar style change, I am going to do these because these are actually going to a doubles tournament at the weekend with me and Dom. Um, you're not allowed to know who I'm playing, who Dom's picked as my teammate, as in the army he's picked, because Templar players out there are going to be a little bit upset. However, yeah, so I'm doing some edge highlighting on this, and we'll see how this goes. How about yourself?
Well, I am painting some Sisters of Battle. So I'm doing
Oh,
some weapons tonight for the old Sisters of Battle. Um, so yeah, that's what I'm doing really. I'm just going to work through these and do some bolt guns and melters and what else I've got. A couple of combi weapons in there. What's everyone in the chat working on tonight? Anything good?
it better be.
Yeah, if you know what's good for you. Um,
Anyone working on their
yeah,
entries for a couple of weeks' time?
yes, exactly. Hopefully. So Tom, yes, as you said before people start saying what they're working on, we've got a doubles event coming this
Mm.
weekend. So initially we booked it, and my plan was to take Sister Battle. Unfortunately, work kind of stepped in the way, and I wasn't going to be in the country on that date. So essentially, I kind of put Sister Battle on the side. I was like, never mind, I don't have to do these. And then last week, found out it was postponed, so I could go to the event. So first thing I did was message Tom. I was like, Tom, please say you've got that ticket still.
And I went,
And
no, I
it was,
don't.
yeah, he's like, no, I've refunded it. If you're not going, I'm not going. And I was
Yep.
like, Tom, that's very sweet of you to say so. Uh, Luckily though,
They still
we
haven't.
um we got a ticket and decided to go. So I have taken an army that involves many models. Um, so it is Black Templars and, drum roll please, Chaos Knights.
Yep, the best combo in the meta at the moment.
Yep, yep, absolutely. So my Chaos Knights will be on the battlefield this weekend. We've had one trial game so far, haven't we,
We
Tom?
did, and
Um,
it didn't go
so
terribly.
no, it didn't go terribly, which is nice because I haven't played my Knights for a very long time, and obviously yourself, you're getting used to your new codex.
I am.
So
That was my first. That was actually my first game with the new codex, actually. Believe it or not. Okay.
that's your second game.
Was it? Oh yeah. Pardon
Yeah,
me. We had a game which I haven't actually put up yet.
awkward. There
I
you
haven't
go.
forgotten about it, but clearly I have.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Glad that meant a lot to you. Uh, Azrael is working on Chaplain that he put on Discord a couple of days ago. So very cool, very nice. Look forward to seeing that completed. Um, what's everyone else working on? Come on.
There's 70 there. Come on. I want to see some activity, guys.
Doesn't have to be Warhammer hobby. Could be stamp collecting.
Stamp
Could be
collecting.
you're sorting out a fishing reel. Could be you're sorting out a airsoft gun, or you could be doing all sorts.
So many options these days, you know.
So many hobbies, Tom. So many.
So little time.
Exactly.
Yeah. I suppose on the news front for 40k, there's not an awful lot this week, is there? I think obviously I've got the new Templar stuff coming out at the end of the week. I mean, I say the new stuff, obviously stuff that was in the pipeline, I should say, which is now finally making the landfall that was required. So obviously I have ordered Helbrecht and I have ordered um, Grimoldus
Remoldus?
and an upgrade kit. That is all at the moment. So I figured I'd have a little look at those first, see what my options were on the kit and stuff, and then work my way from there.
Oh,
Gaming Hobby, working on my kit yet. Sam is playing Battlefield.
very cool.
2042 came out recently, so there you go. That's a bit of a game hobby.
Mr. Blue's working some Russians. Hopefully, wargaming Russians and not some sort of poor Russians that have wandered past you. Captain Jack is working on his Russ, nice, and some Rogue Trader bits from the kill team. Oh, very cool. Because of course they got some actual 40k rules as well, didn't they? The Rogue Traders,
Oh, they did.
which is
They?
quite
I
nice.
didn't see
Yeah,
that.
they did. Yeah, their date sheet got released. As they've stopped selling them, they've decided to release them.
That's how it works, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Chaos should be
Yeah,
getting them
so,
soon.
yeah, exactly. I'm past that now, Tom. I've passed it.
Good. About time. It only took like ages.
I'm not salty about it anymore.
Just a couple
But
of
we
turns.
we did have a trial game the other day, didn't we?
We did.
With our list
Yes.
against Dave Holland and Vicky. Dave Holland obviously with Space Wolves, and Vicky with World Eaters.
Yes.
And so it was quite nice to be able to kill berserkers without really thinking about it. They just kind of just fell down. And the Fenrisian Wolf is definitely tough
But it was a bit
thing to
strange
deal
because
with.
I thought we were playing against Ultramarines and Crimson Fists at the time.
Yeah. The World Eaters definitely didn't like going forwards. I'm not even sure they started up their chainswords for a good couple of turns. The Lord Discordant didn't even put a magazine in his bolt pistol; just kind of stood there.
Well,
And
obviously, if Vicky does come around the corner and hit me in a minute, this is because Vicky was playing World Eaters.
yeah, and the only reason we knew it was Space Wolves is there was a Fenrisian wolf on the objective, but except for that, you wouldn't be able to tell from the
Yeah, and it was an
playstyle.
actual wolf,
So
not an.
yeah, could have been a stray dog on a battlefield. It was very hard to tell. Makes me out his army doable now. Yeah, really, it's good they're getting the rules. Actually, to be honest, it's a bit weird they didn't.
Any new rules for older stuff is always quite welcome, in my opinion. Gives us kind of that option to at least try it out in the current game set, which is nice.
Absolutely. Yeah, they are very nice models actually. Something a little bit different, isn't it?
Mm.
So
Not something
yeah,
you
good
normally
for
see
you,
anyway.
Jack.
Which is the other point, I suppose. Why am I doing this edge highlighting, Dom?
Vicky said tactics and we won. No, I think you'll find Vicky. Myself and Tom won. You and Dave lost. Weird. I mean, Tom, would you agree with that
I
statement?
mean, I can't think of any other way that she can prove it. So yes,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was a good game, Tom. We won. We could have
yeah.
won by a higher margin,
But
but
we decided to sort of hold back a bit, didn't we?
yeah, you don't want to crush their hopes and dreams.
Not
But yeah, as for Games Workshop news, there hasn't really been. I can't think of much that's been released
of
lately.
note, anyway. Wasn't there some Titanic stuff or something knocking about?
There was some. They released some. I'm going to call them War Dogs. Others will call them Armigers, etc. But yeah, they released those models, didn't they? So that's quite nice.
Good.
I must say, actually, what talking about knights, I did thoroughly enjoy playing knights the other day.
That is
It
good.
makes a massive change from playing anything I'm currently playing.
And they can hold objectives, so
And they can hold objectives, which actually came into effect a couple of times in that
it
game, didn't
did.
it? Yeah. So no, good times for the Chaos
The
Knights.
Emperor Champion's got to swing a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, it was a very enjoyable game.
Well, that was it. That was it from Vicky. That was a retort there, so nothing. So I'm going to assume that she's accepting that we won, which is good.
No, we did win, Tom. I don't even know why she's bringing it up. Weird, peculiar.
And yes, it was a very good game, Vicky. Yes, it was.
Has anyone else experienced playing their army with the new updated rules for necrons, for Guard or really for Knights and Chaos Knights? If so, how did you find them? Or have you played against them? In fact,
Yeah,
have no one played any games?
yeah. I mean, any game would be good, really. But we'll have to start thinking about our next double storm eventually. We'll do like
Absolutely.
do some kind of fluff-related one this time.
It, are you saying that Chaos Knights and Black Templars don't go hand in hand?
I mean, not really.
Mm.
If the channel record is anything to go by, I am inclined to believe Vicky.
How do we mute people in the chat?
Well, thank God Dave was late.
Yeah, well, good to see you, Dave. Well done.
Congratulations.
Yep. Don't know why you're congratulating him.
I know. I just thought I'd cover our tracks a bit. Maybe Vicky's actually messaged him and said that we'll change shit. How are you this evening, Mr. Holland? I hope you're well. It was good to see you at the weekend. But yeah, I'm looking forward to actually playing on your team for a bit. It's been a little while since we've done a team-based game actually at a tournament. I think the
Yeah,
Meta one might have actually been our previously last one actually. I think.
yeah, definitely.
Don't recall us going to
I
any other.
think we're quite an enjoyable team to play against.
Yeah, if not a bit annoying sometimes, maybe I don't know. No.
Yes, 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 a little bit perhaps. I mean, yeah, we are very sporting.
I think I was quite sporting. He's painting his wolf and dreads because I believe he needs them for the weekend. So
Yeah,
they were looking decidedly grey on Sunday, Dave. So I hope you're getting along with them all right, mate. I know
yeah, I
last.
believe that's the only thing he had left, wasn't it, to paint?
I think it was two of the wolf and dreads to be finished off, and then that's ready to roll. Oh God, so many. These impulses actually have quite a lot of edges. Don't know if you know that.
I'm familiar with them, yes.
And yes, and obviously me and Dom also had a game against each other last week. I think it was Thursday. I have recorded it. I just haven't actually got round to editing it just yet. So it's been a thing to do this week. I ran out of time last week, annoyingly.
Yep, so there'll be a battle report up
I know.
very soon.
Don't get too excited, guys. I know it's an unusual thing to come from an actual battle report on the channel that does battle reports.
Well, yeah, when we feel like a battle report, we will do one. But yes,
I'm hoping that when certain codexes are released, there'll be a glut of them again. And we'll do a nice little crusade-based thing. I think between I think we're playing something Word Bearers and Templars, weren't we?
Yep, yep, absolutely.
Quite good fun. Because I assume we'll both have our crusade rules. We can start a little crusade army for that.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I look forward to that. Actually, I think there'll be some good stuff in there. But like I said, I'm enjoying the Chaos Knight Codex. I was kind of going through there and just seeing what else you can do with it. And there's a bit of flexibility you can kind of mess around with and something a little bit different.
Yeah, I think I noticed that while you were playing. To be fair, it was just looking at what you could do. I mean, even just being able to do smite as a knight tyrant was quite amusing.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Adds a different layer to it as well. So yeah, no, it was quite fun.
So I'm looking forward to getting the demons out for a bit of a run soon. I still haven't actually managed to have a game with them yet. So I should be finishing off that model really, but I wanted to get this done for the. Well, I wanted this to look a little bit different for the tournament thing. So I thought I would at least try and do one of these before we get there on the Sunday.
Hello, Mr. Lee. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Welcome, Monsieur Lee. Thank you for joining us as usual. I hope you're doing well. What are you painting tonight? I hope it's Nurglings. Or if you finish the Nurglings.
Of course, it's Nurglings.
You must have finished them by now, surely.
Yeah.
He's been very quiet. He's not answered the question, Dom.
It takes a long time to type. Yes, I've definitely painted my Nurglings.
There is no other thing that I could possibly have written.
Yep. Yeah, good times.
Well, as I did. He's actually ironing very well.
Ironing his painting apron so he can put it on and paint some Nurglings.
um, Speaking of things I did do this week, I did actually manage to watch Shang-Chi.
Oh, okay. Any good?
I actually really enjoyed it. It is definitely one of my
Oh,
favourite ones
nice.
out of the new crop, I think.
That's good. That's good.
I then had the displeasure
Um,
of watching Jungle Cruise.
oh. Oh dear. Is it not your cup of tea, Tom?
Not really, no. Did you watch it?
I have watched neither of those.
Oh
I
dear.
watched Red Code, is it?
I Red Notice.
Red Notice? Is it Red
Or with
Notice?
Ryan Reynolds, or
Yep. Yep,
yeah,
that's
it's
the
Red
one.
Notice. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah, that
heard
was
mixed things about that. Was that all right, or was it?
it's all right. I mean, it doesn't really make you think.
No, I didn't think it would. I mean, yeah.
But it is what it is. You know, you could happily step in and watch it at any point and know what's going on.
I kind of got that from the trailer, if I'm really honest. It didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, that's cool. I'll add that to my watch list at some point. I've been trying to watch a few more things recently, so because we've been well, me and Vicky haven't really watched a lot of films, to be honest. Uh, we watched some other documentary stuff. We watched that Catching a Killer.
Oh yeah, yep, yep.
Quite
That's
quite good.
yep. I've watched a few comedy series. I've watched Outlaws. Oh, there we go. Captain Jack, Jungle Cruise is awesome. So fun. It's
I
even better
I
than being
thought it
on the
was very
ride.
Pirates of the Caribbean esque.
Well, I look forward to seeing it. I thought it looked quite nice in the trailers, so I'll give it a go, Jack.
It's not something I'll
We'll
go back
see.
and watch again.
Is that on Disney
It is
Plus?
on Disney Plus because they released it
Have you
same
got to
time
pay
as.
for it?
No, it's in the
Oh, is
subscription
it
now.
actually?
Same with
Okay.
Shang-Chi. It's on there as well.
Oh, okay. So you haven't got to pay for that either?
Nope, that's on there now. They released
Oh,
it
wow.
properly. So yeah, you got a couple of things to catch up on there, mate.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Very
go on,
good.
off you
Oh, all right. I'll see you all later.
go.
Yeah. So I watched Outlaws on iPlayer. That was quite funny.
Okay.
And I've got into What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, not heard of that one.
The mockumentary vampire one, which is quite funny.
Ah.
It's got Matt Berry in it, so I think anything of Matt Berry is normally pretty funny.
I watched an old one last night. I watched movies that made us. I watched the Aliens one.
That's on the latest series, isn't it?
Yeah, I
That one.
think so. Yeah.
It's all like the more horror filmy based ones.
Yeah,
I
I
think.
think it was. I think it must have been an October release by the looks of it because it's got like Halloween and all those other ones on there. But no, I only watched that one because it was the only one I kind of really liked out of the lot they had there. I'm not really a big horror film fan myself, as you probably know, Dom.
Mm. Now, there's some interesting ones on there actually. So I haven't watched the latest series. I've watched some of the older ones with things like Home Alone, and they're quite interesting. Because obviously you go back on those films and go, oh, actually, I didn't know it was filmed on that particular set or that happened.
Or they had trouble
Or
funding it and stuff like that. That was quite an interesting.
yeah, like Back to the Future as well.
Oh
When
yeah, that was.
you got some different shots from different actors in there, haven't you?
Yes,
Where they had to recast
I
it.
was quite surprised that Aliens, kind of, and James Cameron, obviously he did the, just seeing how close that was to not actually happening, which would have been a real
Luckily, it
shame
did.
because that was a good film.
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, Orkster. Welcome, 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 welcome. Anyone got any film recommendations to watch? Oh, I watched 1917 as well.
Oh, that's good. That's a good film.
Yeah, I haven't watched it before, and I was in the mood for
I
a
thought you
war.
watched that actually. Jesus.
No. So, I think to be honest, Dunkirk put me off war films for a while.
That's fine. Yeah, I get that. Dunkirk was awful.
Well, I don't know, awful. I think it was missold.
Yeah.
It's probably the best way of putting it. I mean, there are some pretty good bits in it, but generally
It
it's.
just wasn't really up for what they were billing it as at all. No.
No.
I'm hopefully going to go and watch Eternals tomorrow, though.
Oh well, I've heard only good things about that.
Have you? Mm-hmm.
Oh.
No, I know. That's what,
Hopefully you'll like it. Are you going with Vicky?
Vicky and hopefully Imogen and Joe, actually.
Ooh, okay. Well, hopefully it will be a good evening out.
We'll see.
Oh, there you go, Orkster. Red Notice. He's watched it
To
as
be
well.
honest, I like most things with Ryan Reynolds in it anyway, and even The Rock, Mr. Dwayne Johnson, apart from Jungle Cruise.
Uh, yeah. Ryan Reynolds is good at playing Ryan
Yes.
Reynolds in every film.
I quite like Free Guy. Have you watched Free Guy?
Yep.
Yeah, see, I quite like that. That was good.
Mm.
But then for me, that had quite a lot of nostalgic game tips on it as well. So it was quite, you kind of draw you in that manner as well. So
Yeah, I think they'd be missing something if they didn't put anything in there.
no.
No nods to any old games. Just go for it. I've got June as well. I haven't watched that yet. I still love to watch that. So
Yeah, that's the other one. Yeah, I mean, actually, because that's cinema as well, isn't it? At the moment, should have gone to watch that instead.
I know. I'm sure Eternals is going to be good.
Shut up! We'll go for a night out, all right?
Yeah, no, go for it. Yeah, it's going to
Watch
be
paint
good.
dry.
Yeah. At least you won't have a proper film to distract you. You'll be fine. No, I've watched it. I don't know. It could be good.
You've not watched it, have you?
No,
No,
I don't want to watch.
no, that's fair enough. I'm borderline on it, but I'll give it a go.
I know it's about going out and having a nice time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, see you later, Mr. Lee. Hopefully, a shopping delivery of paint.
Or someone to paint your nurglings for you.
Nice little beret to wear while you paint. Yeah, I think
Yes,
you're right on that one.
there was an old Tau Codex, yes. Because, everyone plays 40k at one point in their life.
Yeah, then they come back.
Yeah, I mean, I think I did that. I stopped for a bit and then came back. I think everyone goes through that little phase of going, yeah, I don't think I can play this at the moment. This feels a little bit too childish for me. Then you're like, it's not childish. It's so expensive.
Yeah. Yeah. The children have this much disposable income.
Yeah.
How do I show my wealth?
No. To be fair, I quite liked coming back to it when I could afford it. I think that would be the best way of describing it. Because it gave you a bit more kind of like, oh, I can actually get this and not worry about having to scrounge together 6 weeks pocket money for this one.
Yeah, I think the cost thing though, especially back then, wasn't as major as it is now.
Not as bad as now. I mean, now you have to drop quite a substantial amount of money to get started in it, in my opinion. Well, I said maybe not to get started. That's probably a bit unfair. Because obviously you could just do a Conquest magazine and you could play with the models you get from that, couldn't you? So,
Or eBay.
Or eBay, yeah, eBay, yeah. Well, I must admit, actually, subscribing to Conquest magazine is quite expensive if you go for the full-on, 3 a month job or 4 a month, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons I haven't done it. Because also because most of the armies I've had, I don't really want to collect more models for, or the ones that they're selling. And I think the one thing I'd like from it is the terrain. That would be the one nice thing about it. But it's quite a nice way in for some people, though, I will admit.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it's it's quite an interesting way into the hobby. I think, like I said, if you wanted to go in and pay Games Workshop prices and go into Games Workshop stores to get into the hobby, it's pretty expensive. However, I think if you go onto eBay or Facebook Marketplace or secondhand shops, well, yeah, there is that one. I think that's the middle when you're taking it semi-serious. But you can go and get second-hand models and strip them
Yes.
down if you want to, or not even strip them down, just play them as they are. Go for it.
It just depends on what part of that hobby you're interested in. I mean, stripping down models is actually quite a tiresome process I've found in the past, depending on if you have the right kit for it and also you have the will to do it.
Yeah, depending on the models. Like
Yeah.
metal models, easiest thing in the world, stripping them.
Yes. The paint comes off it
Plastic
without trying.
models, bit more hard work. Hello, good evening. Welcome, Morat.
I've got a real delayed chat on mine. Hello, Murat. Yes, that's how long it took to come through.
So, guys, what was your first army? In either 40k or fantasy. Yeah. My first army was fantasy, orcs and goblins.
Yes, I remember you saying.
Mm.
I never saw that army,
Loved
but that's probably because I don't think I was. I don't think we were actually friends
No,
at
I
that
don't
point
think
in
I
our
knew you at
lives,
that
were we?
point, to
No.
be honest. So it was the one with the night goblins and high elves. Was that second edition fantasy? Anyone know about second edition? And I had I think 90 to 100 of the little night goblin archers.
Were they painted?
I painted a lot of them, to be honest, but it was very much like enamel painting
Yeah.
because I was pretty young.
I think mine was
D-
Sisters of Battle, actually.
oh, there we go. More at Black Templars and Drakari when they were the box set release. Yes, that is a long time ago. That's good. Orcs 40k, I think. Nice, good stuff there. And then when I got into 40k, I was definitely playing fantasy for a long time because it was orcs and goblins, and then I did chaos dwarves. My sister, she started playing and she was in chaos, and then it was a bit of everything, and then finally into 40k where I think I started chaos space marines.
Why would you start them?
Yeah, it's when they had a new codex. I started playing.
You said you were over this. Come on, I was just testing you there.
Yeah, no, Chaos Space Marines, and they had like some really old metal Terminator models.
Oh yeah.
First 40k army is Ultramarines. Got connecting in 7th. Blood Angels and SWATs and Epic when I was younger. Yeah, I had some Epic models as well. They were quite cool.
I never tried Epic, I must admit.
Yeah, it was quite fun. Didn't really play it properly, so I'm not sure how in depth the rules were, but the models were definitely fun because you just get one box and you got an entire army. I've got so much. It's amazing.
It's like obviously they had some computer games like Final Liberation, didn't they? To play that style,
Yeah.
which was quite cool. And what's the other one? Final Liberation and Armageddon, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, Armageddon came later, didn't it?
Was it?
Final Liberation with the cutscenes was amazing.
Yes. Yeah. Very very 90s cutscenes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's like
Just like Red Alert.
Command and Conquer Red Alert, and it was like we want to do that. Not even Red Alert actually, probably just Command and Conquer.
Command and Conquer, yeah, with old
Yeah,
Gideon.
not Red Alert.
Yeah. Although that our favourite scene of Mr. President, whatever do you mean?
Yeah.
Good old Yuri.
Good stuff. But yeah, like oh man, retro old school 40k and Warhammer. Like when I played Guard, when I got into Guard, I had a squad from each regiment because that's how it was done back then.
Yeah. Mixed squads, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be like, oh, I'll have a squad of Valhallan and a squad of Katachan and Cadian, blah 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 blah.
No, I think I did Sister Battle and Guard with my first two, and I dropped Guard. Get Sister Battle for a fair amount of time, then I think that's when I stopped playing for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think we went through that airsoft phase, didn't we, for quite a while.
Yep.
then we started doing the old Wednesday night special, I think, wasn't it? Or Tuesday
Hmm.
night, I can't remember what we did now.
What's Marat saying? But don't have any models from that time. What new came out? I changed. You're finally very, very old. One Land Raider Crusader, one normal Land Raider, my oldest models, which survived every single refresh. Is it the metal Land Raider
Oh,
Crusader?
I've still got one of them.
I've got one of them. I got one I got off you, I think, and
Oh
I
no,
traded out the weapons to put
did you get them
orc.
from me? You might have done
I
actually. I can't
definitely,
remember.
yeah, and I put orc rockets on the side as a battle wagon before they released the
I've
battle
still got
wagon.
three Land Raiders, but one of my Land Raiders has got the metal sponsons. So I
Hmm.
had to get the Spartan, the plastic Spartan next on. That's what we need.
Yeah,
If they do chaos rules for that.
yeah, yeah, oh, definitely. Yeah, that's going to be happening.
I think you can get. Can you do a chaos Spartan at the moment?
Hello, underdog. Welcome, welcome. Can you get? Of course, you can get a Chaos
Yeah, of
Spartan.
course you can. Yeah, I thought so. I was just double checking.
Yeah. The multi. Yeah. Uh, well, welcome, underdog. We're just talking about first armies. What
Hmm.
was your first army? Either in fantasy or 40k or both?
I did an Empire army as well. That was my first fantasy army, which I must. I was very sad we didn't quite get into that.
Yeah, it kind of ended, didn't it?
I think
I've,
there's too much going on. I suppose.
mm, yeah, I think it's very hard to invest
In
in big
multiples.
model games
Yeah.
uh, when you're in one already.
Because I do remember us having a bit of a issue with certain players playing like Chaos Knights and destroying us every time we had a game.
Chaos Knights, jeez,
Yeah,
yeah,
that was
happy
quite
times.
painful.
Believe it or not, never an army. I've been for 20 years, but most models painted were black templars. Oh, nice. Yeah, I think some people are kind of like, well, in the name, for instance, into painting and modeling. So a lot of people are
Yeah,
just kind of focus on that, which is good.
I do like to feel. I like to feel like I've, especially you and me, have got quite a happy medium between the two. Um, I mean, I'd love to be a much better painter, and I'm sure if I just went, you know, I'm not going to play 40k, I'm just going to paint. I imagine I could improve a lot more than I have done. But because I kind of want to play at the same time, you kind of, you never quite get, I suppose, as good as if that was your sole purpose at during your hobby.
Hmm. Yeah, I think if you actually think about how much time you actually spend doing hobby stuff, like planning an army out and then buying an army, modeling the army, painting the army, and then how much time you actually spend playing it, it's I definitely tend to spend more time painting and modeling than I do actually playing.
Yeah,
Because it's whatever you enjoy, whatever aspects you enjoy. For instance, I don't like playing games with unpainted models. I think it's treasonous.
I think we both
Um,
came to that conclusion a while ago, didn't we? I think, especially when we did the channel. But I think we were both thinking the same thing, weren't we? I think we just basically said, you know, I don't really want to play with unpainted models anymore. It doesn't look right.
yeah, yeah, it breaks the immersion. I think um, if
But
you've
then
got
you
unpainted
also
models,
get a reputation of being, oh, we can't play with those guys. They only play with painted models.
there you go.
Which is not true, by the way. Not true. We'll play with unpainted models. We just don't like to play with unpainted models.
Yeah, and you don't get 10 victory points
Yeah.
if you have unpainted models. Ray Trigger, Harlequin Force, and Epic Eldar Army. Nice. Uh, it's only recently I've been collecting armies. I'm doing Iron Warriors, Space Wolves, Orcs. Oh my goodness, some cool books. And Stormcast. Oh, underdog.
Keeps you
You're putting us
busy.
to shame.
Do you like Stormcast at all? Maybe I start. No, no, no. I've already
I
got.
mean, I love the Crawl Boys. They're such cool models.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I quite like my Daughters of Cain still. I need to get. Yeah, I wouldn't mind just finishing them off. But I just so 40k engaged at the moment. I don't really see myself going back to that distant moment.
Mm.
That was more of a painting challenge anyway.
Yeah, I think sometimes you can just want to paint something a bit different, like we've done for our Necromunda gangs.
Yeah, we're probably due another one of those soon, aren't we?
Yeah, we can do something a bit different. Iron Warriors. Oh man, I was thinking about Iron Warriors earlier. Um, I think a lot about the Chaos Legions. Um, when I'm feeling too happy and cheerful, I need to come
I
down
knew
a
it.
little bit.
I knew it. I just he's going down a bad road again.
And I was thinking, I think what, like, who's the purest to how they were in during the Great Crusade still, and I think
Abrogation.
Iron Warriors is probably the purest still towards how they were.
Still traitorous.
Yeah, still bitter. In fact, maybe I should do Iron Warriors. I think I'd suit them quite well.
Never appreciated.
Yeah. No, we don't want a new codex. Just want to keep being sour.
It's just that new codex for everyone except for the Iron Warriors who have decided
Yeah.
to stay in their current setup. Right. What's the next step on this? I can't remember now. I've got my little player up over here. Always get this bit muddled up.
And me too. I play 2 games a week in average, painting up half an hour.
It's a good amount of gameplay,
Not
to be fair.
sorry. Not. Yeah, that's pretty good going. Nice. Yeah, and I think also you kind of like you have to think about your particular lifestyle, etc. Like how much free time you have to be able to do these things. And comes to all sorts of,
Yeah.
work, studying, your personal life, who you live with, etc. And yeah, it all kind of molds around, doesn't it? I see the Custode and GC Codex have been pushed back.
Yeah, they have their early 2022 now.
Yeah, they're pushing for the Chaos Spaceman Codex. They've received my petition.
I hope you're not pinning your hopes on that one, mate. I must admit that was slightly disappointing, even though I'm not really interested in the codexes, because it means the rest of the stuff's going to get pushed back, obviously. So it just means a longer delay for other things that actually would be wanted, which is a shame. But we shall survive. I don't know about Dom. We might have to wait a bit longer.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. Like I said, to be honest, like hand on heart, loving Chaos Knights.
Good.
I'm quite happy to play them for a little bit, and hopefully at some point my
Well, you got your
sister Bell.
sisters. Yeah, I was going to say you got your sisters
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well. So we'll get a game with them in soon. I'll play Chaos against your sisters. There you go.
Nice.
And make you feel better, and you can play another army.
Yeah. I mean, it's quite nice playing against Chaos Space Marines when I can kind of think, narratively, this is what it's like if I'm an Imperial player. I can just hack down treacherous scum like this.
Stop. Right. Stop it now. We spoke about this before the stream started, didn't we?
Enough's enough.
They're going to start thinking you're mad. We have great hobby rooms with lots of tables, and especially for eating. And we have a PlayStation Xbox. Oh, nice. That's good. I think hobby space is a very important thing. I think I've definitely thought that more as I got older, actually. I used to be quite content with sort of saying, "Oh, that's right, it's my bedroom and my hobby space." But now I'm like, no. I need my own bit of actual hobby space. It's
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
definitely one of my criteria is if when we move house is to make sure me and Vicky have enough hobby space to do both our armies in a decent kind of space without having to worry about cluttering up a living room or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is easier than done, but possible.
Who's we more at? Is it people you live with?
That'd be pretty
Is
cool.
it a group?
Does make it easier if you like your flatmates all play as well, I suppose.
Yep, yeah. Mr. Lee, when I lived with him, he used to play a lot of 40k. We had like a breakfast bar. We'd have little trial
Oh,
games on there, which
yeah, I
was
remember
quite
the old
fun.
flat. That was quite cool.
Uh, do, do, do.
I have not
Seen
seen the
that.
Hellbrick Ironwood. It sounds very heretical.
Yes, I am Warriors. Iron Within. 45 members in the club. Oh, nice. That's a good number. How many on average do you get?
90. What? Whoop. Oh, let this dry. It's starting to get a bit weird. Okay. I've gone a bit too quick on this model. Right.
How's it gone weird?
I think I think the bottom layer is not quite dry enough to go over. I can just see it starting
Oh,
to. I can
right.
see it starting to bunch a little bit. So I'm just gonna, because the first highlight you do on this one is quite a chunky line. So it's not quite as thin as a normal one. Because normally I'll just go straight over and go, get cracking with that. While I was doing that, I was going to quickly check something. Ooh. Oh no.
How many of you out there tonight are actually part of a regular gaming group?
Yeah, because
Gaming group or club?
we haven't been to a game group for quite a while, you know. I was thinking that the other day. We haven't been to the clubs yet, have we? Or I don't know if you've been down or not.
I've visited a couple. But it's just finding time, to be
Oh, I
honest.
know, mate. I know. It's not as easy as it used to be, I suppose. Plus, I think the other ones are now on a Sunday, isn't it?
The local one is on a
Mm.
Sunday.
It's not the
A
best
strange
day, to
time.
be fair. So you have to give up an entire day of your weekend to it, which is great if you've got the time. But
Oh well, it's just in the evening anyway,
yeah.
so it's
Oh well,
it's
yeah. Okay.
it's not too bad. But yeah, Sunday evening, it's sometimes like I said before, it depends on your lifestyle, what you've got going on. Like if you might have kids and you've got to get kids ready for the next day,
Yeah.
or you might be out with your partner or with your friends or your family.
Just checking. Sorry, I had a slight work thing. I just had to check them. Apologies.
Different highlight on the chat plan. Oh, Azapel, you doing the same one from Warhammer Plus that Tom's currently doing?
The
Um,
black highlighting one, you mean?
mhm. Part of an active Blood Bowl group with an ongoing league. 40k the group.
We never gave Blood Bowl a go, did
Oh,
we?
I've played Blood Bowl a few times. I don't know how much has changed over the years. It's quite a fun game. I quite enjoy
Do you
Blood
play the
Bowl.
new edition or?
I don't know if it's changed much. I don't think it has changed much. I might be wrong. But I enjoyed it. I had a couple of teams. I had Chaos Dwarfs again, Orcs and Humans. And did I have any other teams? No, I think they were the three I had. And yeah, it's quite a fun game to play. I don't know if I was particularly good at it. I mean, you still rely on dice rolls, so probably not that good after dice rolls. Um, you got your first event this weekend. Uh, right. Okay. On Warhammer Plus, they've got a way of painting black, which Tom's currently doing on his Black Templars.
Yes. There's a
So
couple of
there
pictures
might
in
be a
the
similar way.
painting and hobby section on our Discord, which I put on the other day to show the Dreadnought and my Emperor's Champion, which Emperor's Champion still needs a bit of work, which I'm going to be doing. But quite looking forward to seeing how they all how it all comes out in the end. Apparently, I can't spell.
Small change from Blood Bowl introduced a passing stat. We should change the meta a little. Are you pro that change, Orkster, or has it affected the game too much? Yeah, it's yeah. I think I played quite a lot of the old school ones, playing Necromunda, Gorgamorka, More Time, Fantasy, Blood Bowl, Gothic, Epic. Jeez, yeah, 40k. Worked my way through quite a few of them.
I wanted to play a bit more. I mean, of Mordheim actually. I quite enjoyed that. I think we had a couple of games on your actually on your kitchen table at one point back in your old flat.
That was quite fun, wasn't it? I
Yeah, I
didn't.
quite
Yeah, I
enjoyed that.
enjoyed More Time. That's quite good.
It's a very different style of play in comparison to lots of the other games they had out. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think I had Witch Hunters. They were very cool models actually. The Witch Hunters, like them.
just like this guy's so cool. I'm looking forward to paying him.
Yeah, that is a cool looking model.
It's basically a remake of the one that I think I bought ages ago, the metal one.
Yeah, yeah, kind of GW released it, didn't they? Like a limited edition, the
Yeah,
metal one.
but I won't be doing the metal one now. I don't think. There's too many decent Primaris models out there now, Dom.
Yeah, I know.
Some
Hard
might
to
say
pick.
too many.
No, no. They are all nice. I got myself a the Master of Mankind audio novel
Oh,
on
I
Audible at
haven't
the
listened
end.
to that one. Any good?
Yeah, I'm quite enjoying it so far. Actually, it's not really a spoiler, but it starts off with the birth of murder. So it's the first murder of mankind created the demon murder, and it's kind of like rooted itself in the human psyche ever since. And I was like, oh, this is quite good actually. I quite
Yeah,
like
that's
it, and
quite
it's all
nice. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah, and it is good so far. Seeing where it goes. Because obviously it's a bit of a back step, I think, a little bit from the siege. Like what I can tell, it kind of goes forwards a bit and back a bit. So, yeah, it's
I
enjoyable so
actually quite like the portrayal of the Emperor during the siege. Actually,
far. Mm. Oh,
personally,
in the walk.
yeah, the little things he has with Horus all the time and things like that is quite cool.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Obviously, I don't want to give anything
'Cause-
away to people because I know some people maybe haven't read any of it yet. But I really think you should definitely, at least if you're going to read one Horus Heresy set of books, do the Siege of Terror. Such an important part of the history of 40k, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, definitely some key things have happened so far in the siege that we've known about for a long
Yeah,
time in 40k lore about particular characters or Primarchs and how they conducted themselves. So yeah, well worth a visit, I
those
think, if
Iron
you've
Warriors, eh?
not. Yeah. Oh, what are they like?
It's one of those things, isn't it? When you read the story, you're like thinking that chaos essentially was, I suppose, ultimately their defeat
Hmm.
because they just couldn't, they
They
couldn't
couldn't pull
fight
it
as a
together.
cohesive force, could they? So obviously, I'm not giving anything away there because we all know they eventually lose. I'm not trying to. I'm just saying that the ones that got took by the key gods had many more issues than the ones that were kind of fringe. That's
Yeah,
just
yeah, the undivided ones.
yeah, like some
Um,
people we know.
uh, Warhawk, Sigismund boss.
He is absolutely.
Yeah. No, Warhawk is good.
They portrayed Sigismund so well in that, in my opinion. Just and Khan. I think I almost felt sorry for Khan.
Yeah, it's quite interesting, isn't it? Actually, I
Yeah,
like that. It's a good part of the story.
I'm looking forward to seeing
Man,
how that progresses. But obviously we've got the big one coming soon. It's not too far off now. Actually, I think there's only two more books now. Is it three? I can't remember what they were doing
how
them
many
so.
were there at the moment?
This is the 5th or 6th, isn't it?
Solar War,
Yeah,
Lost and Damned.
yeah. The Sanguinius one. No, no, that is that Lost and Damned one? I might have to look it up. Let me
And
look up the
Damned. First Wall. This is not in no order.
first wall. Yeah, that's right.
Um, Titany one.
Mortis, yeah,
Yeah.
and then
Warhawk.
Warhawk.
And there's the other one. The one
Solar
that you
War,
keep
Lost and
talking about.
Dam, first wall, and then there's the
Yep.
middle books of Sons of Selenar, which is not actually, that's a novella. Then Saturnine,
Yep. Saturnine, that's it. So
which is
they've done
they've done
6
6.
so
And I
far.
think there was 8. I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely epic series so far. I'm really enjoying
Yeah,
it.
eight is the main name. Yeah, it's 8 main novels. But as with all these things, still had to wait because I don't think it's probably not going to be finished till the end of next year. I suppose.
Yeah, because after the siege, I think they're going into the scouring, aren't they? I think that's what they're doing after.
Should be quite
It's a
interesting.
poor Chaos Forces retreat to the eye.
Poor
Getting
Chaos Forces.
yeah, misled. Horus was weak. Horus was a fool.
He was actually. I was there the day that Horus killed the Emperor.
There we go. There we go. Warhammer Plus, if you're looking for new presenters.
Yeah.
Ta-da!
Here's what not to choose. I must be if I had one if time wasn't like an issue and stuff like that, and I had a kind of unlimited budget, I'd love to have done some of the Horus Heresy actual games, the 30k stuff. Um, if I had more time to do a really cool looking army, because I do love, I want to get the black bound books that they had and do some of the missions there. I think that'd be quite fun to do. Um, I think we both want to do it at one point, but we realised the amount of the time sink that would be required. Not to mention the money sink.
Yeah, I think financially it's huge.
Mm,
And it's coming from a 40k player.
yeah,
A huge commitment. But I don't know how much fraud world must be going on in 30k armies just to be relatively competitive or have a big collection.
yeah. I mean,
Because
it's one of those things,
huge.
isn't it? I suppose if you weren't doing 40k, you'd definitely consider it as a game option.
Hmm.
Even though, unfortunately, it is you would end up having to play the other rule set that we all know about, which is the
At the
something.
grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter because that'll
No,
be any rule set you're playing and used to.
this is true. This is true. And well, oh yeah. So speaking of rule sets? What's everyone's prediction for when 10th edition comes out?
Oh man, I I don't think like the issues with ninth. I don't think it's about the rule set. It's just the way it's managed.
Yeah.
So I think the problems are just translate to 10th unless they
Yes.
address the problems.
Yeah. I mean, that balance sheet wasn't such a bad thing for balance of actual competitor games as we spoke about last week. But
Mm.
I think we were looking at more that I think the way it's been pushed has gone much more towards this tournament scene, which is I think a missed opportunity in some ways. But you almost kind of want that separate rule set for doing. And obviously, I know they've got Crusade, but you kind of want something a bit more expansive. You know,
Yeah.
I think that would be nicer.
Yeah, because we did so we recorded a battle report the other day, and we did open war decks,
We did, yeah,
and that was very enjoyable.
yes.
And it's like it's just not encouraged.
And the weird thing about it, it was even the game premise was really simple. It was just it was like an old school kill points game, wasn't it?
Yeah, like a
So
meat grinder.
yeah, like a meat grinder game. And then we had a little twist, which was what was the twist again? It was
Reroll ones for the closest enemy
wounding.
unit.
Yes, that's when
Yeah, if
yeah,
you're
wounding and that kind of stuff. I think is quite cool. So I think we need to get more into these Crusade books, Dom.
yeah.
I think we need to
Well,
start. Yeah.
that's a good example though. To be
Mm.
honest, you think about it. Like if you had open war and it was supported correctly by Games Workshop, you would have your secondary objectives for your match play games,
Yes.
but you could also have narrative twists for open war games, which are faction specific.
Well, they do.
Do they
Have you
though?
not read the Crusade books yet?
I have 0 Crusade books,
You
but
should
I'm
pick up a
talking in your.
copy.
Well, I'm talking about in your codex.
Oh yes, okay.
This is what I'm getting at, rather than putting these secondaries in your codex for match games. They should also be in your codex.
Annoying. I don't think I've got my little. I think it must be in the other room. But yeah, I had the Necron one here, and obviously they had special rules for each of the deployment zones, which tweaked stuff a little bit, which was quite a nice little. Well, I mean, yeah. Sorry, V? No, not that one. No, no. Thank you. So Vicky thought I went to the Chaos Marine book, but it's not.
That's out of date.
Yeah. It's got the 2 on it, isn't it?
Yeah, 2nd edition.
But I mean, there are also things like this
It's
one here, for
cool.
instance, this
It's
tactical
Space
deployment one.
Codex. Yep.
This was quite nice, but then it turned out this was much more geared towards, I suppose, terrain features. And what annoyed me about that was, why couldn't that just be in a normal book? You know?
Couldn't sell books, I
Yeah.
suppose. But yeah, and that's what I mean. If you've got it, put it in your codex, so you've got the option of doing it, rather than it's always got to be towards match play. That you can actually go, actually, we're going to do open wars, do a narrative. We're already playing Crusade. Actually, I tell you what, we can make our own mission and use the Crusade rules.
So just as a warning to all you guys out there who watch our video, I would expect a certain, maybe not as much competitive style play, maybe in the future, because I think we're gearing more towards doing some narrative-y fun missions, aren't we, Dom? I think that's kind of what we discussed the other night.
I think generally we've done that. I think, to be fair, Tom, like most of our
oh yeah,
battle
I
books
know, but maybe
80%
pushing
are
more
probably
towards that. You know, that's the,
yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously things like this is quite cool, where you've got the slightly different deployment zones with slightly more. But you know, that should be in the main book. They should, because I think they only included like 3 open war missions in the book, didn't they? And you're like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, I feel like they could definitely have put more in there. I think. But you know, it's one of those things, isn't it? It's I think I suppose the popularity of competitive 40k has really taken off in the last few years. Tournament games, it's so important to do balancing at least 3 months. Yes, I agree with the balancing in tournament. I do agree with the balancing side of it, but it's almost like I personally think I think we touched on this last week. We almost already had a system in place for that, where the GT people did the balancing, and that was kind of an offshoot of the game. But now it's turning out to be Games Workshop has to do all the balancing. And obviously they own the material, but they could have had a separate department that just did tournament packs and stuff like that were issued out for tournaments.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not against that style of 40k in any way. I think it's fantastic. However, what they could do is make it smaller games. Speed the games up, make them smaller, and make them a bit more interesting. Like, they've already shrunk the boards a bit.
Yes.
Why don't you shrink the armies?
1,500 point games.
Surely the smaller it gets, the more balanced it can be. Maybe that's a naive way of looking at it. But if you've got, like, for instance, like Kill Team or Combat Patrol, I've played a couple of 500 point games. I think they could be quite competitive. Rather than 2,000 is pretty much, I don't know.
That's become the staple, isn't it? I mean, it used to be 1,500, then it used to be 1,750, and now it's 2,000. I do miss the old 1,750 games. I think they were quite cool. You had that kind of, I suppose, you always had to have a toss up between what you put in your army a bit more. Because you couldn't include all your favourite things in it. Whereas I think 2,000 points, you can include quite a lot of deadly units in it, of multiples of them as well, I might add. But it's just, it's fine. I mean, we still go to tournaments, so we can, we still enjoy them, don't we? So.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Smaller armies don't do models. That, unfortunately, that's probably the truth behind it all, isn't it? But I just think it'd be more exciting.
But with a sideboard, 3,000 points, 750 point game with a sideboard. There you go.
Yeah, pop that sideboard out. Let's do it. But the idea, I think your sideboard would just slow it down too much.
No, I know.
Wouldn't it?
I was very much jesting.
I mean, it's worth thinking about. but
it's a different avenue, isn't it? That's the thing. So
hmm.
there we go. Let's get
Hmm.
that off now. Good. Oh, goodness, it's already 9 o'clock.
No, I know.
Where's the time going?
Slipping away from us, Thomas. Slipping away from us.
Yes. Right, let's kick that off there. There we go. I must admit, I have missed going away for more events. Obviously, the last 2 years have been pretty, as in actually going away. Because we used to. I mean, you and me used to go away quite regularly. Um,
Hmm.
well, 4 or 5 times a year probably. To events that are much further away, and I must admit, I've been missing that a little bit. I mean, obviously, me and Vicky managed to get up to Warhammer World the other week, which was good. Still fun to go out there, Tom.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I'm just those boards are like, oh
I know. That was actually
no.
the most disappointing thing about the trip. Actually, was when we got there. We're like, oh, we're playing on a mat
Yeah,
with the standard terrain on it, and that's again a part of what we were talking about with it swinging much more towards that style of play. And I think they're just trying to, they're obviously, I mean, quite rightly so. I mean, they probably make the most money off those days anyway, I suspect.
that is true. That is true. It is just painful to see.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I've never been a fan of those Realms of battle boards since like the concept of mats. But when you go up there, you're like, oh, Realms of Battle,
Yeah.
or even wood, like a
Well,
wooden board that's painted up. I would prefer that to a battle mat
I
if I'm
still
going
remember that. I think the
somewhere like
first time
game.
we went, they had must be about 12 or 13 high quality tables that were normally shown from like a White Dwarf or something like that. And obviously, when me and Vicky went out, there was about four, I think, in total, including the big Apocalypse one. And you kind of think, oh, it'd be so nice if they just filled the room with these style of boards and let people come up here and play really thematic games.
Yeah,
Because that's kind of, I suppose that's the one that I don't really go out to One World to play a standard, standard kind of here's your mat and your 5 pieces of terrain kind of game. You go out there to have a bit of um, a proper matchup.
yeah, absolutely.
But hey ho,
Oh dear.
oh dear.
Uh,
What's everyone's ideal idea of a really cool board? Anyone got any decent ideas or things they'd like to sort of see conceptualized and built and play on? I mean, I still want to play on I want to play on a board like the main diorama in the Games Workshop headquarters. That battlefield still looks amazing every time I go to see that. I was thinking if I could just
imagine
take,
playing on that.
yeah, I was gonna say well, even if I could just take like a little section of it and go, I'm going to play on this bit. Yeah.
It's one of those things, isn't it? From having a purpose built board with a particular thing,
Mm,
it's all glued down, where you're like, right, well, this is the only way we can play it now.
yes.
It's got to be so well designed that you can keep playing on the same board time and time again. Because you go, all right, well, we're going to do hammer and anvil, and it's matched that way.
Yeah.
And you do like Vanguard or whatever it is now, and it's matched that way, and it's like, whoa, and it looks good. I think that is the sign of a very good, very well designed board.
Well, so yeah, I suppose it's like if you're playing on a trench warfare board, but you put the trenches obviously down one way. As soon as you turn that board, it turns into a bit of
Yeah,
a weird
yeah.
perspective.
Everyone's got to quickly run into the
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
trenches.
yeah.
Go, go,
Um,
go.
but yeah, if I had the space, I'd love to build a more, I suppose, permanent board. But then I always want to be able to have the option to put other things down, because as you said, it gets a bit. You don't want to play on the same one every week in, week out. It doesn't really work very well, because you just get bored. But you kind of always want that thing where you can do a flip on the table all the way around and go, "This is my other board."
Mm. Yeah, but there is something to be said about a purpose-built board
Oh
when you
yes,
look at
no,
it. Like you said about the ones when we first went up to
yeah,
Warhammer World, and they've got them laid out, and you're like, this is just amazing.
yeah,
Like it just, that's the thing about having painted models when you're playing a game. You're
yeah.
just engrossed in it, aren't you? You're immersed in
It makes it
this
easier.
world.
Yeah.
Mm,
'Cause I think when you're looking around, you go, "Oh, grey, eh?"
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry to anyone out there who doesn't paint a lot. Um, I'm trying not to be snobbish about it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it depends on what you take away from it, really. When you got like proxy things, I've proxied things in the past.
Yes, you can do some interesting proxying. I did that with I think I did that with drop pods once. I think just to try them out. And you're like, I'm going to use this big can of beans for this drop pod, and this.
Oh, I haven't been that bad. I haven't
No,
been
no,
that bad.
yeah, I'm just making a very crude example.
I've I used a Space Marine land speeder once as a resurrection arc for necrons. I was like, I just want to see how this works, and I don't really want to invest in this big chunky model. It was a friendly game. I know there's a bit of a difference in size.
Yes. As Phil says, building sections. Yeah, no, sectional boards are quite cool, but again, with sectional boards, if you want to make them work, you kind of have to make everything look quite similar, because obviously if you move their sections around, they've still got a match on every edge. In anything, I think a sectional board is actually much more complex to build in a way that can be shifted around. Um, you know, I've
It
still,
depends.
yeah,
Because for me, a good purpose-built board is relatively three-dimensional when it comes to like the floor isn't flat.
mm,
You've got inclines, in particular elements like a building on top of it or something. And so it's a challenge then if you're making it into 2 by 2 squares to be able to go right. Well, I'm moving this hill over here, a bit like the Realms of Battle board, I
yes.
suppose, where you have to try and like work out. Is this going to sit?
But
Um,
I'll say that's one of the things I actually miss about the runs battle board is having that nice hill, because that was always quite a cool feature. Because it was always
mm,
on every board you had it either in the corners or you had to have it in the middle. You had to have it on one side. We did that cool matchup, didn't we? Where we had the, I think we spoke about that last week actually, potentially with the, I think you were attacking me on top of a hill. Um,
yeah, the assault on
in eight,
Outpost 88.
yeah, so yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Corn Forces assaulting the Grey Knights.
In my dad's kitchen.
There you go.
But yeah, yeah, because I'd love to do a board where there's a bit, where the height terrain that you kind of require is kind of built into it a bit. Because as I said, yeah, we've gotten so used to using these mats, which you just slap down and then put everything on top of it, which is great. But I think you do lose that little bit of, I suppose, interest in the board itself, because it's
Mhm.
all very, as you said, very 2D, I suppose. Um, and yes, you can put stuff on top of it, but sometimes it doesn't look right. You know, no matter what you try and do. Yeah, I mean, I've got that really cool lava mat, but you kind of think, what terrain do I put on a lava mat? You know, in the end, I went with the kind of lots of stanchions that were standing outside of it, but it still doesn't quite. It's not
Not
quite
quite the
as,
same,
yeah.
is it?
Whereas if you built in something that had kind of melted into the lava or something like that a little bit, and it's held up in there, it would look a lot cooler. But
Mm.
um, we can, one day, Dom, when we've bought our gaming hobby center, when we're both in our 90s.
Yeah.
We can we can build some epic boards for battle.
I think it is just a growing market, though. To be fair, I think like going into like gaming centers and stuff. I think it's a growing market. I would like to think it's a growing market because I saw another one's opened relatively local to us, and you're suddenly going, actually, well, maybe this is an area that's
Mm,
worth investing in. Just go back to the 90s when you had internet cafes and gaming cafes. You're like, wow, what's this? But then the problem with that is technology catches up, and it's like, well,
yes,
actually,
you don't
what's the
need it.
point of that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly the 0 point, isn't there now? But
yeah.
yeah,
But
but
I think with wargaming and board
yeah,
gaming
it's
in
not the same.
general, it's something that's part of us. It's something that we're always going to be doing because
Yeah,
it's a very social thing.
and the virtual side of that will never ever overtake it as a core part of the hobby. I don't think. You know,
Mm,
everyone obviously lots of people do this. The tabletop simulator and things like that, which is great for if you can't get somewhere, but if you can get where you need to go, it's kind of a bit it's kind of a subpass kind of replacement, I suppose. Um, we'll hopefully get another event done soon if we can get ourselves another venue. I think we'll hopefully be talking about that in the new year.
mhm.
It's
Absolutely.
been a little while since we had another look at that, really, isn't it? I suppose.
Mm.
I suppose we got a bit disheartened, I think.
So, guys, what's your thoughts on gaming venues? Which ones have you been to that you enjoyed? Like you've got Bad Moon in London or
Mm.
Dice. saloon in
Or what would you like to see
Brighton.
in
Is there
gaming
any
venues?
good ones near you?
Yeah, what makes or breaks your gaming venue as well? I think for me, I think an on-site kind of
Brewery,
brewery would be good.
pizza oven.
Pizza, something like that. Just it's food and drink, in my opinion. I think no, I think you may laugh, but I think a lot of things
Uh, uh,
don't take that seriously enough because it's keeping people there is the important part. You know,
mhm.
and if they don't have to go somewhere to go and get a drink and a bite to eat of decent quality, you keep them in that area longer, and it's quite. I think that's quite nice. It's quite important. Um, yeah, I mean, when we go to places, we normally go and find a reasonable restaurant nearby. Unless they're serving food with the event.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think we've only probably maybe we could probably count on one hand the amount of times that the food at event's been particularly of a
Orkster, Firestorm Games in Cardiff. Obviously, Cardiff is a long way from where we are. But, however, I have seen a photo of that venue and it looks absolutely amazing. So yeah, no, if that's your local one or if that's one you've been to a few times, hats off. That looks fantastic.
But have a look at this.
Obviously, Sanctuary Games. We went to Sanctuary Games, Tom,
Yes,
for the
yes,
Hellstorm one.
that was good.
That was a
Yeah,
nice venue.
good
Um,
food as well because they had I think they got some local chap in who does he did what was it? Was it the kind of the was it
Jamaican
pastillas Jamaican food? Yeah, that was
Jamaican
yeah. It
food.
was actually
Yeah.
really 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 nice. Um, Also, I quite liked obviously our old sponsor, Wargames, who are no longer around. Well, I think they're actually now Dice,
I think
Dice and
that's
Decks.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's not quite a venue as it
no,
were.
I think
It's
he's
more of a
given that. I
website.
think he's given that up more because I must admit, having seen him run it, I think it was probably quite a lot of work for probably not an awful lot of an awful lot of gain, I suspect.
Yeah, I think it's whatever you
Yeah.
take away from it. Really, it doesn't always have to be a financial.
No,
If
that's
it pays the bills, that's beneficial, isn't it? Finally, usually they're badly managed and panded to regulars who take. Oh, Jack, I think you've like taken the voice out of my head and put it into the word forms. Uh, because I completely agree with you. I didn't want to say this, but I think the thing that really puts me off a gaming venue
mm,
or club is a very kind of clicky kind of player base they have there. And I'm not naming this at a particular venue, but bad management, hands down. And it's not about like how they conduct themselves
no.
overall as a business. It's just for me, like this is the inner snob coming out, where you go in and they just have Magic the Gathering posters everywhere, and everything's kind of a bit hodgepodge. The OCD part of me will be like, actually, I want to be able to take my partner in here and not be embarrassed as I walk in. I want it to be
Space.
a nice clean space that people would happily be there, not feel awkward being there. And yeah, that's what I think
He's.
is
I
quite
think
key.
you and me are on a very similar page on that because I find it very tough with I suppose the little cliques they have sometimes in some of these venues, and you try and inject yourself into them. You're like, I don't really want to be part of this. I just want to come down and sometimes you might not want to commit to coming to a venue like all the time, and that means that you're naturally not going to be part of that
Hmm.
group, regularly, and that's just the way I am. I'm not a huge social animal sometimes when it comes to meeting lots of new people at the same time. I like to come into a comfortable space, as you like you said there, and be able to come in and feel like, oh, this is just nice, and I can ease myself,
Yeah,
into this, and just feel like, oh, if I want to play 40k, I've just got to walk over there and say, oh, look, there's a table there, and can I use
yeah.
it? Yes, perfect. That's kind of you know,
What you want, really, isn't
yeah.
it? Like a venue for me, big in Bristol now. Good.
I'm just looking at
Uh,
Fast Dawn games. It does look very good.
have you seen a picture of it?
I'm on their website at the moment.
Yeah, that looks good, doesn't it? And Bad Moon as well. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And the thing is about if you know, a lot of us kind of a lot of few of us are quite, like you said, quite reclusive, maybe in some ways. We don't necessarily want to put ourselves out there to kind of either be the risk of being criticised, perhaps, which is a normal thing,
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we've just got to, be brave and put that extra step forward, and then hopefully make some new friends somewhere. But yeah, it can be quite intimidating if you go into somewhere and they're all standing around chatting about something with their backs to
And
you.
you
You're
get
like,
that look. You get a look when you come in.
yeah,
Oh, new
yeah.
person.
So what do I do about this? um,
But I'm not that bad. I'm just I'm a bit more slower into introducing myself into groups of people because I'm very wary. I suppose that's where I look at it.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's not at
yeah.
all.
No, but there's massive.
Of course, it's
You
just
know,
what we're like,
yeah,
really, isn't
exactly.
it? And I
Yeah.
think war gamers in general, because the thing is, as well, like a lot of these people who are in these little cliques, are kind of maybe also a little bit shy because maybe they don't want to reach out to someone, so they don't really engage you. Yeah.
As a first thing, you need to talk to
Yes.
strangers.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah. You mean we have to talk to strangers? Yes. Absolutely. 100%. Black Toad recommendation is talk to a stranger.
loads of them,
Yeah, it's
but
just a friend you
3 or
haven't
4 at the
spoken
same
to
time.
before. Immerse yourself.
Don't immerse yourself in strangers. Off you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're not being held responsible for
And
any
they told
shenanigans.
me to do it.
Who did? Black Toad. Who did Black Toad?
Don't know what I'm talking about. Strangers. Stranger danger.
No. But yeah, I think you're right with having a nice gaming space.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's all very well for like doing a little theme for if you're doing an event on the day. I think that's great. But I agree with not making it very. Sometimes they don't make it inviting for lots of different types of people. It's very geared towards
Yeah.
pulling in that repeat
It's
repeat
it's
crowd.
almost a cliche in
Yeah.
itself now.
Mm.
Like if I'm going into a hobby shop or a club, that they have to put some form of cheap poster that they've had from merchandise which has been delivered by their vendor, and they have to put that poster
Yeah.
up somewhere. And I'm like, why? I can see the fold marks where you've taken it out of the box. You've just blue tacked it to the wall.
And
It's
ultimately,
not my
if someone's
teenage bedroom.
if you're coming in there, you've probably seen that they sell that particular type of stuff
Yeah,
anyway. You're not
yeah.
going in there because you're like, oh, wonder what this place is. Yeah.
Or what they also do is they get the window for the shop and they just stick stuff on the window. Like, we cannot have daylight in here
Yeah.
because if we have daylight, that might attract strangers in, or we might burn. It's just like, just have a bit of self-respect, lose the ridiculously cheap posters and
I mean,
rubbish that they've sent you,
go,
and just make it a nicer place for people to visit.
going back to obviously, if you remember War Games, I mean that was a very bright, nice store, and it was like
Open, clean,
yeah, and the window was completely
well
clear
run.
of anything, and you
Yeah,
walked in there and you could instantly just see that there's a card gaming area over here because there was some low-level tables with some seats on it with some people playing cards. You don't need to know that they're selling Magic the Gathering because clearly they are. They're playing it and it's there. And then look to the right and there's a nice display of that particular game. Then you walk further in. There's nice gaming tables with lots of space around them, and they have decent, they had decently walled, and all the other stuff was around the outside of it. So the inside of it was nice and clean, but you could, if you wanted to buy something, you were under no pressure and you could find it nice and easily. It wasn't in your face. So I think that's one of the big, I think that's one of my biggest turn-offs for it, especially if you're billing it as an event space. If you overdo it with the shop side of things, I think you kind of annoy people. That's personally how I feel. Ultimately, you can see these people are selling stuff somewhere, and that's
where
what.
they get it from?
Well, it's like with Sanctuary, obviously having the gaming shop was at the back of the event space because it was an old church, wasn't it, basically?
Yeah,
And they had the event space, which was basically the main body of what the church used to be, which was lots of tables. You had to walk all the way through that and then walk all the way to the back to get to the gaming area. Sorry, the selling area. That was actually quite nice. I liked that. That was good.
yeah, absolutely,
Yeah, priorities.
absolutely.
Get it right.
All right, we're talking to you. We know you run a shop. Sort
All
it
of
out.
you.
You especially.
But anyway, well, I feel we've rambled enough tonight.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I've had a nice time rambling.
Yes, me too.
Hopefully, we've made some good points on there. I take it everyone is a member of our Discord
I will
community.
while we're just wrapping up. I shall put a link up on there so that people can potentially peruse and join our channel.
Go
So,
for it.
so bear with me one moment. Waiting room. Create an invite. So if any of you have not joined us, yes, Murat, go ahead. There's our Discord link, so use that.
Yeah, and remember, guys, invite some friends as well.
Yeah, we'd like to have some more
Like
of
we're
you in
just
here.
saying, strangers are just friends you haven't met yet, or people you're going to meet in court at some point.
I think we're giving out bad advice this evening, Dom. I'm not sure this is a good idea.
When can we see the first battle report with your new Black Templars? Well, we have recorded one for it that Tom will be editing up soon.
It should be up this
And
week at the latest. I just didn't quite have enough time last week, Murat. Me and Dom will hopefully get another one done soon as well. We're just trying to make sure. I mean, maybe I'll play your Knights versus my Templars.
yeah, that'd be cool. The old knights behind me. There's a few more there that haven't seen seen a battlefield for a while.
Yes, we
They'll
have
be out.
a Word Bearers versus Black Templars fight, which Dom very kindly played against me.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
mean
you
that in the
won't.
fact that I know Dom's particularly not that enthused about Word Bearers at the moment, not because he doesn't like the army, but because of the rules at the moment. So, but we had a very good game, but I think that was mainly down to the fact we played open war in the end, and that's what we will be probably doing more and more of. So, yeah. But anyway, I suppose we'll call it there.
Yes, I've had a nice time. Have you?
I have indeed, and I hope all of you guys have enjoyed listening to us going on without any real central subject. We should probably start looking at that.
Yes, exactly.
If anything, if any of you
Jack,
guys
we'll
have
talk
anything,
about that.
yeah. If any of you would like us to actually talk about a particular subject on anything, please let us know in general chat on Discord, and we'll kind of prepare some notes on that.
Yes.
Someone already started. No,
Cool. All right, guys. This has
thanks for Jack.
been Dom and
Tom.
Blacktoad Studios.
Yes.
Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gents, and we will see you
See you all
all
soon.
next time.
Take care, guys.